You're listening to Write the Book Now interview and podcast show with host and creator Dr. Sharon H. Porter.
Hello, everyone. I am Dr. Sharon, host and creator of Write the Book Now interview and podcast show. My guest today is Michelle B. Hauser. Michelle is from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. She has worked in the medical field for over 17 years. She is currently a compliance educator with a healthcare organization in North Carolina. Michelle earned a master's degree in medical health administration from Strayer University and a Bachelor of Arts degree in communication from Salem College. Michelle is the visionary author of the #1 Amazon bestseller, You Don't Know Our Stories, From Trials to Triumph. And now, my guest, Michelle B. Hauser. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining Write the Book Now interview and podcast show. I am your host and creator, Dr. Sharon, and today my guest is author Michelle B. Hauser. She is the visionary author for You Don't Know Our Stories, From Trials to Triumph. Michelle Hauser, welcome to Write the Book Now interview and podcast show.
Thank you, Dr. Porter. I'm so honored to be on your podcast. Thank you.
Absolutely. And so I am just really excited to interview you about this wonderful #1 bestseller, as we just heard in your bio. How exciting is that?
Oh, that is so exciting. When I got that news, I was so elated just to know that what I had worked on became a #1 bestseller. What an honor.
Absolutely. And so, this anthology features 6 actually authors. Along with you, you have Shakina Angelic, you have Becky Baldwin, Dawn Barnhammer, Wendy Graham, and Cornita Jones. And I think the book is absolutely wonderful. And today we're going to talk about your chapter, Life's Lessons.
Thank you. Okay.
Absolutely. And so this is Write the Book Now, and I always start out by asking, what made you write the book now?
Well, there was a storm that I was going through in my life, and God is so graceful and so forgiving, and I had to tell my story so that others would know that they too are favored and that they too can make it when there are tough times, that they just have to keep the faith and know that God has their back. And I just knew that it was time for me to write my story.
Well, awesome, because what we do here, not only do we feature authors, but we really are used as a beacon for aspiring authors. We encourage them, if you have a story, to go ahead and write the book now, and that's exactly what you've done. I also understand that you have actually had the honor of really going to 4 events. I see you started out in Maryland with a book signing. You then went to North Carolina, then Georgia, and then South Carolina. What are your aspirations for this book after these book signings?
Well, after these book signings, what I would like to do and what I'm working on is to have a conference where that any and everybody can attend, because these stories, they can reach everyone some type of way. And so I would just like to be able to reach a broader or, more people, to let them hear the stories that I have and all of the other ladies have written. And, like I said, just letting people know that they can too make it. And, that's just our stories. And everybody has a story. So we were transparent enough to write our stories to let the world know what we have gone through. And like I said, everybody has a story. And like we would like to see other people write their stories, because they can reach somebody who is too going through the same thing that they're going through.
Exactly. And in this book, in your chapter, you actually speak about your pastor's wife coming to you and actually asking you a question that really was something simple but yet profound. basically, and it really, I guess, turns a light bulb on for you. Can you talk about that a little?
Sure, I'm glad to. My pastor's wife, as a matter of fact, let me go back a little bit. I was driving to work one morning, and I was talking to my pastor's wife and just sharing with her, how I was feeling at that time and some of the things that I was going through. And she stopped and she asked me a question. She said, "Michelle, can I please ask you a question?" I said, "Yes, go right ahead." She said, "Where have you always gotten your help from?" And at that time, it was like the light bulb went off. It just resonated with me at that moment. And there was silence, and she was like, "Hello, hello?" And I said, "I'm here." I said, "But you know what?" I said, "I've been asked that question, even by my pastor. Michelle, where has your help come from?" And I told him the same thing, but it was different that day. It really, really resonated with me that where my help had always come from, and that at that point in time I knew what I needed to do, and that was for me to go back to God so that He could lead me in my life.
Often, many of us draw our strength from a higher being, God for me, and for most. What do you think, and this is just your opinion, when people lose their way? Because undoubtedly you grew up in the church, you've always known that your strength comes from the Lord, but what, in your opinion, allowed you to stop knowing that for that temporary moment?
So, as a matter of fact, what happened was, my mom got sick, and I am an only child, so it was my duty or my job to be there for my mother and for me to take care of her. So at that point in time, I had given up all of my positions in church, and I was right there by my mom's side every day when I got off work, and on Sundays I was there. I was just there. She was my main focus at that time, and I thought that I was doing what God would have wanted me to do. And I'm not saying that He would not have wanted me to take care of my mom, but He would not have wanted me to stop doing my duties. So I knew that was something, because I've been so blessed. He's always blessed me, and I've always triumphed through life. So I knew that, that's what I needed to continue to do, is put God first. Not that I was not putting my mom or doing what I needed to do for my mom, but just making sure that I put God first and then do whatever else I needed to do.
I love that. And you also speak very highly of your father throughout the chapter, and even in the dedication, actually. You start out, really praising him. Can you talk a little bit about your relationship with your father?
Sure. Me and my dad, I love my dad. We have always had a bond, a very strong relationship. And he's always been there for me. He's always been the type of person that, whatever he was doing, if I was right by his side, he was explaining, he was showing me, he was teaching me, things in life. That's what he was doing. And so we have always been very, very close, and we still are to this day. And, even though, and people wouldn't even know that, I am adopted, that he adopted me if I didn't let them know. But we do have a very strong bond, and I speak with him every day just to, make sure he's doing okay. And if I don't call him, he'll call me. And, it's just always been that way as long as I can remember. Wherever he was, I was there. So,
wow.
And, yeah, it really is awesome. He's my hero.
I love that. And so you were recently featured in Precise Woman magazine, which is a local magazine in your area. As we read, you are from the Winston-Salem area, I think Walkertown specifically, and they have this wonderful print magazine. And so you were actually featured. Talk about your feature.
Oh, sure. Basically, I just, gave a brief synopsis about the story and the book, and it was a very moving and beautiful article. I was given the opportunity to let people know about my mom, and that my mom had passed when the book was published, and just to give an opportunity to let people know about my faith in God, and how did I always have had a strong faith in God as long as I can remember. And growing up, my grandfather was a pastor and, going to church all the time. And I thank God for that foundation that he and my grandmother instilled in all of us. And I say all of us, all of their children and grandchildren. So that book gave me an opportunity to let people know about the book and also the book signings. And I was very honored, again, to be in that magazine.
Oh, I love it. And one of the things about telling your story is that it often always involves someone else other than yourself. How did you get around, or how was it received from the people that your story really involved?
Well, actually, to be honest with you, some of my family members make the mention to me that, they never knew a lot of my story, and that's because I kept it to myself. There were things that I did share, and some people do remember, but I do get positive feedback all the time about my story, and that it's wonderful, and it's something that, everybody needs to hear, and it's just something that I hope that I can make happen, to have everybody hear my story. But just having the courage to write about my lived story is what I always hear, that, they're very proud of me that I was able to do this. And it's just been wonderful. It's been a wonderful journey. It really has.
This is great, and I understand that you are on your way to Volume 2 of You Don't Know Our Stories. How can individuals reach out to you if they're interested in sharing their story in your next volume?
Okay, and what they can do is reach out to me on YDKOS Anthology, and that's Instagram. They can reach me there, and that would be the best way to reach me if they would like to write their stories, or they know someone who has a great story that needs to be told. They can also reach out to me as well there.
Okay, so on Instagram, and also I see an email address here, ydkosanthology@gmail.com. Can they reach you on there as well?
They sure can. Thank you.
Okay. Absolutely. So, guys, I tell you, what a wonderful book. I encourage you to go out and purchase You Don't Know Our Stories, From Trials to Triumph. It is Volume 1. Michelle B. Hauser is the visionary author, and 2019 will bring Volume 2. They are also planning a wonderful conference, so you do need to stay connected so you can find out about all of this information and find out where they're going to be, because it sounds like this movement is on the way. So, Michelle B. Hauser, thank you so much for joining us for Write the Book Now.
Thank you, Dr. Sharon. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Everyone, thank you for joining another episode of Write the Book Now interview and podcast show. As always, if there's a story inside of you, don't wait. Write the book now.
Thank you for joining another episode of Write the Book Now. If you are contemplating writing a book, don't wait. Write the book now with Dr. Sharon. Contact her at info@writethebooknow.com. Also, take a moment to follow us on social media at Write the Book Now.